Hi there, my name is Toby, and on this channel I talk about body efficiency and Chi, the life force energy, and how these two things are very closely connected. If we can improve our body's efficiency, we will have more Chi, more energy available to us. And I spent most of my life training internal and external martial arts, all types of body work and esoteric practices and philosophies, as well as studying physics. I am a scientist, I have a degree in physics, and I nearly did a PhD in theoretical physics. So I've always been absolutely fascinated with the universe and how it all works. And in this lecture series, I'm calling this lecture series Magickal Science, because it's not just physics, it's metaphysics. You see, physics and metaphysics should really have never been separated. They are one and the same thing. We can't have one without the other. And what we've got today is a very materialistic science. We've separated out metaphysics altogether. In fact, we've just denied it. All we're looking at is physical manifest things. We have no concept of the unmanifest, something that is not physical. But we can't deny it. We have a mind, we have thoughts, we have feelings. These are not physical. And even mathematics itself is not physical. So we cannot deny the non-physical. And that's what this lecture series is all about. Not only am I talking about metaphysics, the soul, the spirit, and how all that works, I'm also talking physics, how the fundamental particle of the universe builds up the whole universe. So let's start by recapping where we've got so far. This is lecture 8 in the series, and in this lecture I'm going to be talking about the fountain of youth. And the fountain of youth really is your hormones. Your hormones. There's something very, very interesting about hormones. We've got a model of the universe, and this is again very important. What is the universe? Well, the universe looks like this. It's a big circle. It has to be a sphere. Now, the universe is infinite, so this is an infinite sphere, so we can never know the real edge of it. But it has to be a sphere because it will start again at an infinitesimal point. It starts from nowhere. So here there is a zero, and here there is an infinity. And this zero expands evenly outwards to infinity. So this has got to be a map of the universe. An infinitesimal point, nowhere, expands out into infinity absolutely everywhere. And the universe works in two spirals. It expands outwards in a clockwise spiral, and it converges back in again in an anti-clockwise spiral. So you have this map. This is the map of the universe. You've got this vortex of energy coming out and going in, and this vortex of energy creates a field, and this field returns around like this, and this is the magnetic field. So this point of zero is the same as this point of infinity. This is the ether. We've called this the ether, but this is also now what I'm calling spirit. So let's go straight into metaphysics. This is the same thing. Spirit is in infinity and it's in zero. And the universe, again, there is no beginning to the universe. There's no start to time and there's no end to time. Put it this way, there's no Big Bang, but yet there is. This is a Big Bang, but it's a continuous Big Bang. It's continuously happening. This point, the universe is exploding out, but at the same time, the universe is contracting back in again. The universe is being created and it's being destroyed, both at the same time, continuously. Now, this is a map of the whole universe. Okay, this is a map of the whole universe, but we can never know the middle of the universe. We can't know what this point is because it's infinite. We can't know the edge of the circle, so we can never know the middle of the circle. But the good news is every single thing in the universe has this same pattern. You see, the universe has this pattern, but everything in the universe has this pattern. And everything in the universe is doing this exact thing. Everything in the universe is creating and destroying itself. You see, let's look at it straight away. This is a magnet, a very powerful magnet. But this magnet has exactly whoa, I forgot this is metal. So there you go. This magnet has got this same pattern. The field is coming out and the field is going in. And here I've got another magnet, and this magnet will be affected. See, on one side it's being pushed away. There's energy, the force is coming out, but on the other side it's being pulled in. Oh, that way, it's being pulled in. Pushed away, pulled in. On one side, the universe is being created, energy is coming out. I can feel it. On the other side, it's being sucked in, destroyed. But in the middle of this magnet, right in the middle, is this point of inertia. Right in the middle of here, there's an infinitesimal point where the field is being created and destroyed. It is a point where the universe is a little big bang in the middle of this. But it's so tiny, there's a little bit of force coming out. I can feel it. And if I take an inert object like this shell, well, there's no magnetism, so I can't feel energy coming out. But there's an energy in here, it's gravity. But gravity is another form of magnetism. I talked about that in the previous lectures. So it's still got the same thing. There's a center of gravity to this inert matter. And in that center of gravity is the same principle. This pattern is happening. And the energy, the universe is creating and destroying itself in the center of gravity. So this is a bit of a, you've got to wrap your head around this. But if you can wrap your head around this, everything starts to make sense. Now let's look at this in practicality. If we really want to see this happening, we've got to look at black holes. We've done this before. So you've got a black hole. Let's start here. Here's a black hole. So we know that a black hole, they say a black hole is a collapsed star. It's all collapsed in. The matter has disappeared, gone to a point. And now it's got so much gravity, everything is getting sucked into a black hole. Everything is getting sucked into a black hole. So we know that things are being sucked in, but what most of us don't know is things are coming out. Energy is coming out of a black hole. There are neutrons. Neutrons are coming out of a black hole. And high energy, super high energy. These are called galactic jets. You can look them up. So this proves this model, because not only is matter getting sucked into a black hole, matter is coming out. In a black hole, this is a big bang where the universe is being created. Energy is coming out, neutrons are coming out, hydrogen gas is coming out. So the universe, the fundamental atom of the universe is hydrogen. Most of the universe is hydrogen and is coming out of black holes. But also stars, we'll come to that in a second. But why has this got no matter? There's no mass here. It's just energy coming out. And what's happened here in this pattern, in a black hole, this ability, this function of the universe, and then this is called dielectricity. Okay, this is dielectricity. So this function of dielectricity is so powerful that it has overpowered the magnetic field. There's still a magnetic field because this energy wants to come back in again. But this aspect of exploding and contracting is so powerful that the magnetic field is insignificant next to it. And you need the magnetic field to have any mass, have any matter. See, all matter is created from the neutron, which is a little circular wave of the magnetic field, and that gives the effect of mass. So we need enough of this to have any effect of mass. And in a black hole, this one is so powerful that the effect of mass has vanished. In other words, this is not an object, this is a sinkhole. This is a sinkhole in the field. This is literally a point of inertia falling down into the field. You see, the universe is made up of this one field of ether. It's a fluid field. It's not quite like water, it's a pure fluid. And in this fluid, the energy is interacting. Different frequencies are interacting. You have different movements, and sometimes when they interact, you get constructive interference. So more energy appears. And sometimes where the field interacts, you get destructive interference, and the field disappears again. So when you have destructive interference, you've got a point of inertia. When you have constructive interference, you've got something appearing. Matter will appear. So you can think of matter as points of massive constructive interference in the field, and where you've got a black hole, you've got a massive point of destructive interference in the field. So that's a black hole. This is a map of the whole universe. But a black hole, we've also got a star. So let's have a star. Well, let's talk about the sun. Here's the sun. So this is our sun. We know the sun. The sun is a star. Now this will have the same pattern. It will have a point of inertia. The energy is coming out and the energy is going in. So you're going to have this dielectricity, this dielectric component, but it will also have a magnetic field. It will have a magnetic field. Now, the magnetic field has got a plane of inertia. Okay, let's do back to this one again. There'll be a plane of inertia. The black hole, we know that matter has disappeared, so the magnetic field is tiny compared to this. But it is still a very, very, very powerful magnetic field. And we know that because it has a plane of inertia. And around the plane of inertia, a galaxy forms. We know that in the center of a galaxy, there is a supermassive black hole. We know that now. So the plane of inertia is where matter will spin around the magnetic field of a black hole. So there's definitely a magnetic field, and it shows this exact pattern. You can physically see this. It's this pattern. So in a black hole, you can see a genuine map of the universe. Every black hole is a creation point of the universe. If you want to know what the universe looks like, you have to look at this. Now it's the same in a star. The star is the same thing as a black hole, but the magnetic field is a bit stronger now. So now it can hold a material substance. There is enough magnetic field for matter to appear, but it's still very high energy coming out. Very high energy coming out. So this is very high energy matter. We know that. A lot of radiation, all radiation is coming out of this. And there's probably some neutrons. Some particular stars will also have galactic jets. So some stars are powerful enough to emit neutrons. Neutrons are the highest form of energy. The electromagnetic field, when it goes higher and higher and higher and higher, eventually it will become a neutron. The standing wave appears at a particular level of energy. So here's the sun. This is our sun. It's the same thing. Same thing. Well, what about the planet? A planet. Now let's go to a planet. Here's our planet Earth. So planet Earth, now again, it's the same thing. A point of inertia, a center of gravity in the middle where this map happens. And we still got a bit of a magnetic field. The Earth is slightly magnetic, isn't it? We've got a north and a south pole. So the magnetic field is there. It's still got this energy coming out of it from the magnetic field, but it's very slight. The energy that is coming out of the Earth is just a bit of a magnetic field. There's no fire, there's no neutrons coming out, but it's like this magnet. There's no neutrons, there's no fire coming out of this, but there's a magnetic field coming out of it. It's just a less energy, but it's the same energy. It's the same energy as a black hole, but a black hole has got a lot of it, so neutrons come out. Then it's the same as a star. The star's got the same energy, but a bit less. So still some neutrons. And then a planet is the same, but a bit less energy coming out. The magnetic field, or the ability to hold a material substance, has overtaken. But you can still see it's got a little bit of a magnetic field, and we could go all the way down to, say, the moon. Okay, the moon then is inert, completely inert matter. So now we don't really have any magnetic field. What we do, it will be inside. You can't see it. And you've got to go back to the previous lecture. This is depolarized matter. This is polarized matter. This has got such a powerful north and south, or plus and minus. And this has got a bit less, and this has got a bit less, and this has got even less. But now the moon, we got lots of theories about what the moon actually is, but let's assume it's what they say is a lump of matter in the sky. So this is just an idea of an inert lump of matter. It's all got the same pattern. It's all the same thing. Everything is the universe creating and destroying itself at the point of inertia. So this is the map of the universe. There's no time here. Time appears in the movement of the universe. But as you go out to infinity, again, there'll be no time, because infinity is the same as zero. Time appears in the movement of the universe. This field interacting is always moving. That's where time happens. But in the middle, the point of inertia, there's no time because there's no field. There's no space because there's no field. The field only appears when the ether, pure ether, manifests itself out of this point of inertia. So you can see everything in the universe maps this, and this goes to the fundamental particles, the neutron. So the neutron is the same as the moon, inert matter, and the proton, which is the same, but the proton now has got a north and a south pole. Here the north and south pole is inside. So again, right to the fundamental particle, it maps the same thing. More interesting than that, let's go to the human body. So here's our human body. And again, watch the previous lectures, but we have a point of inertia, the seat of the soul, right here. where I've got my microphone. And the seat of the soul from here is the point of inertia where our soul creates everything, and our energy is created and destroyed, and this creates our magnetic field. So we ourselves and every living being, every cell, every DNA, every animal are going to have this basic map. And the reason we have this map is due to coherence. And again, go back to earlier lectures, I talk about this, coherence. Coherence means all these different complex things going on in our human body work together into a single unit. And when we can do that, this pattern becomes more prominent. If we lose coherence, what happens? You've got different things going on. Each one's got a different one here, there, everywhere. And so you lose the coherence and your magnetic field, it sort of dissipates. We need to actually work to create this coherence. A strong soul will have a strong coherence, and this strong coherence is a strong aura. So this is metaphysics and this is physics. But you can see they're one and the same thing. This is the whole point. Metaphysics and physics should never be separated. See, energy is not so much being transformed, energy is being created all the time. The energy in this magnet is being created, and it's created due to coherence. All the atoms in here are working together. When this loses its coherence, it will lose the energy. So if I keep bashing this magnet, there's a way you can lose the magnetism. But that just means you're losing the coherence. But each atom in itself is a little magnet, and that one has not lost it. You see, that's what you've got to realize. Each atom is a fundamental particle, a little big bang where the universe is creating and destroying itself. And it's always happening. That will never lose its own coherence unless you destroy the atom or the neutron. But here, when they all work together, you've got due to coherence, this is acting like one big atom. This is one big atom, one big proton. This is actually a proton because we got a plus and a minus, a north and a south. This piece of inert matter is like one big neutron. It has no obvious charge. These two things don't do anything together. But they are still the same force. The same force that holds this one together is the same force that holds this one together. But when I use that force with coherence, now I can get this effect. But it's the same force. So now we understand how the universe creates and destroys, always happening. And in the last lecture I talked about there's a process, you see. So if you have this infinite universe creating, it creates matter, here's the neutron, and the matter creates substances. It creates substances, different atoms. But now let's say this creates water. So here we've got water. And water then becomes a crystal. So water will crystallize into solid matter. But this can go back. This can go back to water, back to particles, or back to air, and then back to energy. So there is a process of this creation and destruction that happens. And this process in the Tao is called the 5 elements. And the 5 elements, again, appear in all different philosophies. And there's the ancient Greek ones, the Indian ones, and every different mystery school is going to have some version of these 5 elements. But it's basically just a discussion on the process. How does this process of creation and destruction happen? And that's what I hope to explain to you now. I like the Taoist one because I can explain this process easily through it. You see, so the Taoist one, you will have fire, and then you have earth, then you have metal, and then you have water, and then you have wood. So, and they go round like this. This is the way they go round. But this process happens in many different ways. See, the universe is fractal in nature. This pattern I showed you happens in so many different ways. Whichever way, you can look at the universe in different angles and you will see this pattern appearing, this way it works. So this 5 elements is a universal concept that can be applied to all sorts of things happening. This can be applied to, as I'm saying, the creation of the fundamental particle, and this can be applied to your emotions happening to you. This is emotional. This can be applied to space, i.e. this is feng shui, the directions in space have this effect. All sorts of different things. So it's a universal pattern that appears in different ways. there is a movement of energy. But this energy is moving through different levels. There are different frequencies to this energy. Remember, we started talking about at the very beginning, pure ether. There's a disturbance due to desire. Pure ether creates a disturbance, and this disturbance is a frequency. And this frequency is changing. There's different frequencies. So there are different frequencies to this energy, and this process also moves through frequencies. Now, this is a map of processes. Okay, so this is a map of the process. Let's have a map of the energy levels. So there's also levels. So we have low frequency to high frequency. And the nicest way of looking at this is light. You have the 7 colours of the rainbow, haven't you? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So this is nice. These are the 7 levels of the visible spectrum of light. So these are low frequency to high frequency, and people, of course, have connected this to the chakra system in the human body. And the chakra system is really this: different frequencies of energy, different levels of energy. So the universe is comprised of a process, energy moving between a process, but it's also comprised of different energy levels, different frequencies of energy. And these different frequencies of energy are also interacting in different ways. Now, actually, there are infinite frequencies. You've got to wrap your head around this. The universe is infinite. And there are infinite frequencies. It's like an analog radio. The universe is analog. It's not digital. It's not digital. Although I've divided this into 7, this is really a fluid. This is a scale. Anywhere up this is going to work. It's not jumping. This is completely. We've got an infinite variety of frequencies all the way up the scale. This is important to understand. The universe is analog, not digital. Quantum mechanics make us think it's digital. It's not digital. Pure fluid, pure analog infinite fluid. So the chakras just represent particular stages along this fluid. In other words, they are energy centers in our body that resonate with particular frequencies. But we've got all the frequencies. All frequencies are going to work. There's 2 things we can look at in the universe. Now we've got a picture of the universe. We've got a way the universe is created. We've got an understanding of how the body and the spirit work together in the same way. Now that we're looking at how the body and the soul or spirit interact with these different levels. We've got 5 elements, a cycle of going round, and we've got 7 levels, a frequency. So this frequency level is like you can think of it this is like the dielectric side of it, the current, and this is like the magnetic side of it. So you've always got these 2 aspects appearing, yin and yang. Yin and yang is dielectricity and magnetism. Now there's 7 levels, so we've got the 7 chakras, haven't we? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's interesting, these connect to the 7 glands, So 7 endocrine glands will also connect to these 7 chakras. Now this is very interesting because the glands now are a particular type of fluid. They're a particular thing in the body. And these connect to a different type of energy experience. These are very mysterious. Hormones are a very mysterious fluid. Now, modern science says that hormones are like a carrier, a messenger, and they will carry a message from the gland to a particular organ in the body to do something. But you see, if you think about it, the hormones give you energy. If you have a kick of adrenaline, you've got a burst of energy. You've actually got some energy out of it. And they all will give you some energy. So how have you got energy from this? How has energy been created? This magical liquid has created energy. And you even see it in the movies. Someone has a terrible thing happen to them and they drop down and they have to put an adrenaline. They put a shot of adrenaline straight into the heart. I don't know if you've seen this with the thing. And then they come back, they rise up, oh, you know, massive surge of energy, and they're okay. And now they're on a high. So they've actually been given some energy in this fluid. This is a mysterious fluid. And all of these magical esoteric groups know this. And some of these ones, again, are have got the wrong idea. They're doing it for the dark side. So they want to get this magical fluid. They want to live forever. And this magical fluid, this is the fountain of youth. You see, if you can get this adrenaline and drink this stuff, it's going to rejuvenate you. So this literally works. Now you can make synthetic hormones. People make them. We make them now. But you're not really making them from scratch. You have to make them from either plant material or an animal material. You have to start with some biological material, and then you can make a synthetic hormone. And you can make better ones, you can make bioidentical hormones, but they're never quite as good as the real thing. So if you're a bad person, you could take some adrenaline from one person, and if you yourself ingest that adrenaline, it's going to be good stuff that will regenerate your body. It is the fountain of youth. And again, I'll come back to that a bit later, but all the hormones are going to give you some energy. Each one of these gives you a sort of energy effect, and I'll take you through them in a bit. But it's worth puzzling what on earth is going on here. What on earth is going on with hormones and glands? And if you think about it, you can take, if you get a shot of adrenaline, so the hormone has gone in, you get some energy, but you can also create that adrenaline. If you imagine yourself in a fight, you get into a fight, now the adrenaline's pumping, your body, you've seen, your mind has perceived an external threat, and your mind has created the adrenaline because, oh, I'm going to fight. And you think, well, that's a real circumstance, you've reacted to something real, so the adrenaline has been created. But if you just close your eyes, sitting here, and imagine yourself fighting, there's no fight happening, you've imagined it in your mind completely. You're still going to get a surge of adrenaline. Oh, you're not fighting, there's no fight. Your mind has triggered the production of adrenaline all by itself. With or without a true external situation. Your mind has created that adrenaline. And that adrenaline has given you a little rush, a little surge of energy. So what is going on here? Your mind has done it first. Your mind controls the adrenaline. This is the point. The soul, this is what I was saying, the soul. The soul, remember, the soul here, the heart chakra is the seat of the soul. You are a singularity of spirit. Spirit is the creator, but it's not a personality. Spirit is the infinite creator. The infinite creator. But remember, the infinite creator only has one law. The one law of the infinite creator is mathematics. Mathematics. There is no arbitrary ethics. The great creator only operates under the law of mathematics. And the mathematics for that is the golden ratio phi. Phi is the law of the universe. So there are no ethics. The universe does not see good and evil. Only we have created good and evil. We perceive it. The universe does not see pleasure and pain. It doesn't care if it's pleasure or pain. That is our perception of it. It only has to follow the law of mathematics. We down here have created arbitrary connections between pleasure and pain. We've created these arbitrary concepts of ethics, and this is where we've got to be careful, because religion talks about all this stuff, but religion has put on an ethic, and they have said that this creator follows this ethic, but the ethic has been created by man. We've created this, and they created it to control other man. So you've got to be very careful. You've got to observe this very carefully, critical mind. And of course, some of these groups are openly very, very evil, like these dark groups. So they've got no wisdom. They don't understand. Well, they understand mathematics, and they understand the universe doesn't care about it. So they're going to have a go and take whatever they want. But what they don't understand, it is detrimental to themselves. They will never experience the complete happiness they want. They will never experience the true longevity they want, because they're taking it from someone else. We have to make this ourselves. You have to do the work to create this longevity inside yourself. That's why these evil people, you know, these people that are controlling the universe, taking energy from us, they can never win because they are jealous of us. I am creating my own energy and they just want to take it off me. They don't want to create it themselves. And they can only ever have second best. If you're stealing someone else's energy, it's only ever second best. That's why they have no wisdom. The wise person knows, I really want energy, I want the best energy. Well, the best energy I've got to get myself. There's nothing else can do us good. So I can't be taking energy from other people. Don't be doing that. Anyway, that is an aside of good and evil. But remember, the universe only has one law, the law of mathematics. But these hormones, you see, these hormones there's some direct connection with energy, with this liquid. And we're going to talk more and more about this now. And so they know that, and if you take this liquid, you can get some energy. And we're trying to synthesize it, and we can synthesize it, and it works to a degree, but not quite as good as if you can get the real deal of another human being, another human. But what is it? What are these hormones? What are these hormones? Let's leave this up. What are these hormones? Well, let's look once more at the pure universe. So we take the pure universe up here, infinity, and down here is the pure material universe, the crystalline structures of the pure material universe, up to the pure fluid ether. And in between we've got substances. And let's put them in between substance as water. And I mean literally water. Literally water. Water is hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen, we know, is the most fundamental particle in the universe. And oxygen is, again, a very, very important particle we need for life. But all life needs water. Everything needs water. I talked about the DNA. DNA is the fundamental structure of life, but that needs water. You can't have a dried out bit of DNA. Here's the DNA. You can't have a dried out bit of DNA. It's got to be in water. It's got to be in water. And water, the water molecule looks like this. It's 3 molecules. There's 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. And it's at this angle. So it's got a particular shape. And this is a particular shape of an aerial as well that receives, this particular shape receives a particular frequency of radiation. So it picks up signals. Water molecule can receive radio waves. And in the early days when the first radios came out, you could actually hear the radio on newborn babies. If you listen with a stethoscope, and because there was only one radio signal, you could pick it up. Now you can't because there's so many radio signals. But it means that a large body of water, you can literally hear the radio on it. So this will pick up radio waves. But not only radio waves, you see there will be a different changing frequency on this wave. This is the carrier wave. So the water can pick up all this different energy, this different information. So the water molecule is the first molecule that really starts picking up information. But it can't do anything with it. It's sort of a fixed molecule. So the water molecule acts as the receiver for the DNA. So this is receiving information from spirit, and this water molecule allows the DNA to get more of this information. So it's got to be in water. And the water, of course, allows a fluid for all the particles to float together and join. So we need this fluid to create this matter and to create life. So this is like this antenna collects the frequency, the energy, the information for the DNA. So the DNA processes this and transforms, it divides into new DNA. So we need water for life. So water is really the first fountain of youth. The first fountain of youth that we need is water. But we also need to have, now we know it now, water holds information. Lots of work been done on that. Water holds all sorts of information, and it will hold energy as well. You can hold this energy in there. So we want water to have a good energy, a useful energy that helps us. And there's a thing called structured water, and you can look this up, structured water. So structured water, it's when the water molecules, they apparently get into a nice pattern. They get into a hexagram pattern. So it's like they're little snowflake crystals. Otherwise, water molecules are just jumbled up like scrunched up bits of paper. When you have structured water, they organize into a nice hexagram pattern. And this is pure water, pure natural ancient water in the glacier, and in natural places have this structured quality. And people also say there's even a difference in the viscosity. The water's a little bit thicker, but it doesn't stay like that very long. It's easily knocked out of structure. So if you magnetize water, I've got a magnet here. If I use this or stick some water on it, this will help structure it. Or even a crystal, putting a crystal in water will help structure the water, because this is a structure. This is a pure structure. And the water picks up the idea of this pure structure, and it decides to copy it. It will structure it. So water can only do that though. Water can only organize itself into structured or destructured. And we need water regardless. Even destructured water will stay alive, but it's not as good as structured water. Structured water will give us energy. It will give us electromagnetic energy. The structured water is holding some magnetism. It's holding some electricity because it's in a structure. So if we can drink structured water, it will feed our energy. We need that. And again, same for our DNA. If the DNA has structured water, it's got more energy. It needs the structure to have some electricity, because remember that even the DNA is following this pattern. So giving it energy will increase its coherence, give it power, and it can carry on. So ideally we want structured water. And our body, our body is made of cells, trillions and trillions of cells. So if we think of it as cells, and in between the cells is water, well then we're 70% water. Our body is 70% water, but the cells themselves are made mostly of water. So if we say that our body, including every cell, is water, then we are 90% water. So we really are 90% water. Our body is 90% water. We're a big bag of water. So we need to be structured. If we can structure this water, this will hold energy and we will be able to receive information. So by working on our coherence, working on the seat of our soul power, doing our training, our energy to practice, aligning our body, using our mind to focus on this point, we bring a coherence to our body and we structure the water and we connect to pure spirit, as I was talking about in the last lecture, pure wisdom. We allow this energy to connect through, and down here is the crystal. Or this is the Earth, the planet Earth. And we ground to the planet Earth, and the center of the planet Earth, okay, we still don't know really what's in the middle of the planet Earth. Could be a big ball of molten iron, or it could be, it can't be hollow, because there could be hollow areas, but the middle has got such high pressure, it's got to be something there. It might be a diamond, it might be one pure solid diamond. There's a theory like that, and I like that theory. So I'm not exactly sure, but it could be a diamond in the middle, which this is the one I like. So I concentrate on a diamond in the middle of the Earth. So this is a pure crystal, and here's pure ether, pure liquid, and we get our center line between these two. This is the practice we have to do. And we are a soul, a singularity of spirit, halfway between pure spirit and halfway between pure matter. And here we can build our aura, our magnetic field. And in our body now, this coherence, and this allows us to create energy, and we're also destroying energy. We are a point of inertia. We are allowing energy to pass through us. We are allowing destruction to happen. Some things have to go, but we're also allowing creation to happen. There's always something new coming. And this, we can structure the water in our body, and we can have 90% of our body as structured water. This is going to go a long way. But remember, we got frequencies coming in from all angles. A lot of different frequencies coming in, and this is destructuring our water. Our water is getting knocked out of structure quite easily. So we need to build a strong aura that goes outside our body, and we have to continually structure our water in the body. 90% water, boom, I structure the water. I give the command to structure my water. This is what we do. This is soul power. So this is how we can protect from all these negative frequencies coming towards us. And it's a real thing. A strong magnetic field is a resistance to all to external energy. You see, it's a real thing. the Earth has got a powerful magnetic field around it. It's called the Van Allen belt. It's not the Earth's magnetic field, further out, the Van Allen belt. And it's such a powerful magnetic field that radiation from the stars and the sun don't bounce off or absorbed. It protects the Earth. A strong magnetic field will protect from frequencies. And we have to build that. This is our aura. So, first fountain of youth is water. And if we can drink structured water, we are gaining energy, electromagnetic force. It will keep us going. And the second fluid of life is the blood. The blood. Here, let's do blood as a few drips. Let's have a cut. Here we go. A few drips of blood. So, the next fluid of life is the blood itself. Now, blood is, again, very interesting. Blood is like water. But our cells, as I was saying in the last lecture, our cells have got mitochondria inside them. So every one of our cells have got these little mitochondria, which are little separate living beings. So our cells in our body live in symbiosis with these little mitochondria. They're not us, they're another living being. So life is a community of things working together. And some cells have got more mitochondria than others. And these mitochondria are little energy things. They're little batteries. They create energy. We need them. So for example, the heart, here's the heart. The heart here, heart cells have got the most mitochondria. I think one heart cell has got like 40, 50 mitochondria because it needs a lot of energy to keep going, keep going. Other cells have got far less because they don't need so much energy. And an athlete, someone who trains their body, has got more mitochondria in their muscles than normal people. So we do want to keep working, train our body to increase the level of mitochondria. These are our energy centers. Each one of those is giving us energy. But interestingly, in the blood cells don't have any. They've got no mitochondria. So blood cells have not got an actual energy in of themselves. So blood cells are designed like water. They go round and round and round, but they're continually dying. New ones are coming out and old ones are dying. So, but that's their job. They're going around doing work, transmitting nutrients, transmitting messages, healing wounds, doing what they've got to do, but they're continually created and destroyed. So they operate in a process of themselves. And we are, again, a bag of blood, aren't we? Most of what we are is a bag of water and a bag of blood. So, but blood is a very, very important one. Now, we can have a blood transfusion. So this doesn't have to be our own blood. It's got to be, we know there's a certain amount of similarity required, but blood is quite universal, so we could take someone else's blood and it will still do us good. If we need to live. I've had it. I've had pretty much a complete blood transfusion. I've lost so much blood. I've had 4 surgeries. You can look through my talks. I talk about it. And so, it saved my life, somebody else's blood. It still works for me, but over time now I've changed it. Now it's my own blood again, because it doesn't last that long. The blood will die and then your new blood comes. We want the process of creating new blood. But blood acts very much like water. We want to have high quality blood created in our body. We've got to continually create it, and it's got to be magnetized. It's got to be magnetized just like the water, structured water. And the heart, the function of the heart is the center of the magnetic field. It is the strongest magnetic part of the magnetic field is the heart. So this means the heart is actually an electromagnet. It's an electromagnet, and when the blood passes through the heart, it is being magnetized. See, the heart has got nothing to do with pumping the blood. Again, it's an aside. I talk about this in a previous video. But the heart does not pump the blood. It's nothing to do with moving the blood. It's a pressure regulator. It regulates the pressure of the blood, but it doesn't move it. Blood is moving by something else. Because this is easily proven, because the blood comes into the heart at a certain velocity and blood comes out of the heart at a certain velocity, and it's about the same. The velocity of the heart blood going in and coming out is very similar. You see, the blood comes out of the heart and it goes all the way to the extremities, and it stops. At the end, it stops. Right down here, the blood slows down. It slows down and it stops. Now, here's the point. You need a pump, but there's no pump here. Somehow, the blood gets together again and slowly comes together, and it starts to get to bigger and bigger, and it speeds up, and then it reaches the heart. And it reaches the heart at about the same velocity and it comes out. So the heart is not pumping it, because if you need a pump down here, not up here. And again, people have done the calculations. The size of the heart, if it was genuinely pumping the blood through all the blood vessels, the heart has got to be huge, massive. There's not enough power to pump it. So this could be moving through capillary action, but it's moving through electromagnetism. You see, the blood is magnetized. That's why you need a good diet. You need iron in the blood. You need heme iron. So again, you do need this, heme iron. Heme iron is a particular type of iron for the blood, and this will allow the blood to be magnetized. So now you will have strong electromagnetism, and of course breathing good oxygen oxygenates the blood, and also breathing ionized air. Ionized air gives you electricity into the blood. So you have electromagnetic blood going around the body. This is providing energy to the body. And it's the same business. It goes back to the structured water. We create structured blood by building the coherence of our heart. And this is why all heart troubles are not what they say they are. Heart troubles are electromagnetic. It's very easy to collapse the electric field of the heart, and it just stops. So you can have sudden heart failure quite easily because it's electromagnetic. If this hasn't got, you just switch it off. Oh, it's gone. Switch it on again. Poof, it's on. How do they start you? Electric shock, don't they? Doom, boom. Electric shock starts the heart. This is all electromagnetism. The body works through electromagnetism. There is metabolic energy when you digest food, but that metabolic energy ultimately goes to create electromagnetism, because your metabolic energy feeds the mitochondria. We're not eating the food, we feed the mitochondria. The mitochondria produce electricity for our cells. So, what we don't think about our diets, we've got to think about what do the mitochondria like to eat. Because we're feeding the mitochondria release one thing called ATP, a particular chemical, and that chemical is what our cells eat. So our cells only eat one thing, it comes from the mitochondria. So we've got to feed the mitochondria. Anyway, that's an aside. But it shows you everything is symbiosis, everything is coherence. These are all different things working together, and they work together because of coherence, my soul power. If I can increase my soul power, all this stuff will work together better. This is the secret of health. When you lose coherence, lose focus, all these things go off doing other things, and then some get influenced from outside and do something else. What is this terrible disease? The big C disease. Let's do a big C. I don't want to say the word, but that's where something has gone off. It's just doing its own thing now. It's out of the control. It's got no coherence. It's doing its own coherence. But again, this is man-made stuff. All of this is nonsense. This is nonsense. This will fix everything. Okay, it's a bold statement to make. But it will fix everything because you're building your soul, and your soul is your metaphysical life as well. Your body may be fixed, but your soul is not fixed. You can continually grow your soul power. Whatever the limitations of your body, there's always something you can do. So you can see, second fluid is blood. And then the third fluid is the lymphatic fluid. Let's do another one here. Lymphatic fluid. So the lymphatic fluid is, again, they're like blood vessels, but the lymphatic fluid has got different nodes. So the lymphatic fluid is moved by squeezing little nodes, and these move when you move your body. So they're in the joints. In particular in the joints, you've got lymph nodes. So when I move my arm around, this squeezes this fluid. And this is another fluid, very, very important fluid that's not thought about enough, but this is the fluid that detoxes the body. So toxins come out of the blood, come out of the organs, they hang around, and they collect in here, and they get moved around, and they go out towards the skin. They detox out through the skin. So they'll come out through the feet, out through the hands, everywhere, out through the head. But they also bring out new blood. This is the most important thing. New blood is created deep in the bones. So here's the spine. Let's do the spine. Deep in the spine, deep in the bones. Here's the skull. Deep in the bones, the bone marrow produces the new blood, and that comes out through the lymphatic system. So between the lymphatic system and the blood, these are the most important things for this fluid of life, this fountain of youth. This fountain of youth, these are the three fundamental fluids: water, blood, and the lymphatic fluid. And these are the ones that we're training in body efficiency training. These are the ones we're doing. The movements I'm doing, the isometric tension, the controlling of the joints, is to move the blood and move the lymphatic fluid. Because the blood vessels and the lymph nodes are in the joints. And you're stretching and contracting them. You're helping the blood move around. Remember, it's not the heart pumping the blood. It's not cardiovascular system so much as the movement of the joints. This is a squeezing and stretching of the blood vessels, helping the capillary action, helping the electromagnetism move the blood. We want it to go right to the extremities. And now we're moving to the next one, the hormones. So now the hormones. The hormones, again, are transmitted through the blood. But hormones are very, very interesting. And I'm puzzling about these for many, many years. Many, many years. Let me tell you about the Taoist theory of the hormones first of all, because you'll start to see the picture this way. So the first hormone is down here. So this is the sexual hormone. So this is the very first one, testosterone, estrogen. There's more. There's loads of hormones. There's at least 50 hormones. And I suspect that the science will keep discovering more and more hormones. I have a feeling we can create hormones, different ones. These are again, the method that we are creating life. But I haven't fully got a good explanation of this yet. So you've got to bear with me. But the first hormone here. And the Taoist theory says that you build up the hormone energy. So this is the first one. And what you've got, let's do it on the side here. So what you have is like a vessel. You have a vessel like this. And there's a tube. And a vessel like this. And each one, the hormones are a fluid. These are the fluid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 main vessels like this. And the first one here, the sexual hormone, is a fluid. So if you can fill up the fluid, if you can manage to fill up the fluid here, you've got to be able to save this fluid. So they believe this is, again, these fluids are connected to the life force, so you don't want to waste them. If you can save the sexual fluid, the sexual hormone, it will build up. And once it's filled up, it will fill up to the next one. So once you've filled up some of this one, you can go to the next one up here. And now you're getting this hormone. Now you'll be able to build up this hormone. So the next one is adrenaline. This is the kidneys. This is adrenaline. So if you can build up this sex hormone, then that one's filled up. Then you've got some energy, and you can bring this energy up to adrenaline. You've got some adrenaline power. So that's why fighters and martial artists, they practice this. You abstain from sexual activity. Build up this, save this one, so you've got some adrenaline. Now I've got a bit of fighting power. But that's not enough, you see. This continues up. So if you can conserve your adrenaline, don't waste adrenaline. You see adrenaline junkies. I love adrenaline. Adrenaline junkie is always using up adrenaline. I want more adrenaline. They're burning it up. If you can save the adrenaline, I'm building it up, but hey, I'm not wasting it. Adrenaline fills up and fills up. Now you go to the next hormone. The next hormone up here is insulin. Insulin. So now insulin is to do with digesting the food, it's to do with energy in your body. So the energy in your body means the ability to move. I can move. I've got some energy now. I feel like moving. See, we don't often feel like moving. The sign that you've got a good energy building up here is I want to dance, I want to move, and it's natural. So this one here, you can think of a martial artist. This one now, in insulin, in the digestive, the energy, this is more like a dancer. I just want to dance. So it's moving up from fighting to dancing. It's getting a bit more enjoyable. It's coming into emotions. And if you can still build that one up, save that one, then it goes up to the next one. The next one is the heart. So now we've got the heart. And the heart one is the thymus gland. And I've forgotten what the hormone is called. But the hormone is there. There's a hormone in the thymus gland. So let's call that the heart hormone. But this will be to do with your immune system. But again, your immune system is not a good word because you don't need an immune system. It's to do with the electromagnetic system and a strong field, which is your protection, like an immune system. But the heart hormone is also generating your emotions. You feel happy. You see, with the heart hormone, you're starting to feel love. It's a loving hormone. You're feeling this connectedness. So you're starting to feel a connectedness and empathy with people. So the heart chakra is also, remember, the seat of the soul. So this is a very, very important one. You're starting to feel some soul in your body now. But even that one, people, you don't need to waste that one. I saved that one. And then I'll get more. What's the next one? Well, the next one goes up to the throat. So here we've got the thyroid gland, the growth hormone. And again, I don't remember the name of the growth hormone, but the growth hormone, this one starts to build up. So I'm building up, building up. And if this one builds up, now I've got growth hormone. Well, now this is interesting. Now I'm starting to regrow my body. I'm getting to the level now where I've got enough energy that I'm actually telling my body exactly what to do. And in my way of saying this, you see, this is regenerating your body. Your basic hormones here, your sex hormones, these are reproductive hormones. The very purpose of these is to create a new body, a new life, but we don't create a new life outside. You turn these one in and create a new life inside. So these reproductive hormones has worked their way up to the growth hormone itself. This is like being a teenager. Teenager has got massive growth hormones. The whole body is changing. The body exists. It's a small body, but suddenly it's made a big change. Things have changed. So the growth hormone, if I can get some of this, now we're at the level of achieving a certain level of mastery, of control of your energy body. You've got the ability to regrow yourself. But even that's not enough. We go up to the next one. The next one is the pituitary gland. So this is pituitary gland, or the control of the brain. And this is the seat of your consciousness. Again, this is the seat of inertia. In the Tao, in the center of the brain, they've got a thing they call the crystal palace. There's like a shape here. And it's a bit like an egg-like shape in the middle of the brain. And in there is the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus and the thalamus, and it's in the middle of the brain. They call that the crystal palace. So it's a very important energy center. So this is what I'm calling the seat of awareness. It's another energy center, another point of inertia, which connects to pure spirit. But this one now, the pituitary gland, is the master controller of everything. So if I get enough of these fluids, these hormones, and the fluid up here builds up, now I've got master control of everything. I can control and command my body to a degree that is difficult to understand. I can control how my temperature, I can make myself hot or colder, I can control my blood, my heart rate, my blood flow, I can control my healing, I can command the energy, I can do a lot in my body, within reason, but I can do a lot. And then finally, of course, is the pineal gland. This is the ultimate. This is the pine cone. We see this a lot. This is the symbology of the pineal gland. But this again is still in the crystal palace, but we draw the chakra up here on the crown, because the pineal gland is now the one that connects to spirit. The pineal gland is interesting. This is the hormone that now dissolves your ego. In this one here, in the pituitary gland, is your brain. This is your sense of self. When you move to the pineal gland, you've got a connection to pure infinity. You're moving back into spirit. This is death. But this is also sleep. This is the unconscious. This is where you can stretch into the infinite. This is where you no longer see yourself as an individual, but you feel the connectedness of all things. You become one. And this is the ultimate nirvana. This is the ultimate wisdom. This is a psychedelic experience. But in the Tao, if you practice this, you will have a true psychedelic experience. But it comes through the natural psychedelics of your own hormones. And the trouble is, we waste all these. And usually we're wasting the sexual hormones. This is the one that's wasted. So in the man it's wasted in ejaculating, and in the woman it's wasted in the menstruation. So essentially you're losing fluid during these things. And in the Tao they practice a lot of exercises to conserve this. And I'll leave links below. If you want to learn more about this, you've got to look at Mantak Chia. Mantak Chia has written many, many books about this, and he talks about this in great detail, the Taoist practices of conserving your sexual hormones. But ultimately it's to do with ejaculation control for a man and menstruation control for a woman. They can reduce their blood loss in a period. And a man certainly can also control their ejaculation. But there's two ways of doing this. You see, a Buddhist monk becomes celibate, so they control ejaculation by just not doing it. And the trouble is they've got to do meditation. They've got to do a lot of meditation to make sure this energy goes up. And then the Taoist master, they don't. They're allowed to get married, they're allowed to have sex, but they don't ejaculate. But instead of that, they're circulating the chi. They circulate the energy up and up and up. So they still both do it, but they conserve this. So if you want to learn more, I'll leave the links below to Mantak Chia. Check out his website, check out his books, and you can go into great detail and understand that. It's worth looking into. But I was talking about it in general. I'm talking about the theory of it. And if you get this basic idea of the meditation we're doing, this will happen for you anyway. you're conserving your energy, turning it inwards. It's if you really want to go into great detail, and again, this is called tantra. In the Indians, this is called tantra. And you can look into great detail of this. But you've got to understand this basic energy work of the body before you start playing with this. And you see what I'm saying here, the problem is if you waste the sexual energy, this first one is gone. So the water's come out now. And because the water comes out from that one, then they all go down. Oops, they all gone down. So first of all, when some comes out here, you lose some there, and so on and so forth. More comes out, more comes out, more comes out, more comes out. So most people in the world, they're still down here. This one is only building up and going out, building up. Now, it's not that you have nothing, but we just have nominal amounts of these going on. What we want to do is build this up so we can increase the limit. Now, imagine this. I'm producing this sex hormone, this testosterone, but I'm not wasting it. I've turned it inwards. So this energy for creating life, I don't externalize it, I internalize it. I create my own life back inwards. I turn it in. And then this adrenaline is the next one, this energy for protecting life, to surviving. I don't turn that out by fighting other people. I don't turn that out with aggression, I turn it in, I control, I harness that adrenaline, and I turn it inwards into energy for myself. And then I do the same with insulin. I've got that feeling of moving and doing stuff. I do stuff, but I'm doing it carefully. I don't waste it. I turn it inwards, I control it, and so on and so forth, up. The same with the heart. I've got this feeling of compassion now. I love everyone, but again, you can waste that. You get very strong heart givers. They're givers and givers, but they're exhausted. You've wasted too much heart energy. It means at this point, you're not going up. You've got to go up. So you've got to have this compassion, but you have it for yourself. That's wisdom, compassion for yourself. And that's why evil people don't have any compassion. So they can't have even gotten to this level. Evil people are still down here. They're still basically down here. They're very intelligent, but they're down here. You can have a separation. You need this midpoint. There can be a separation between these two. We want the midpoint. A wise person, like a Jedi, is here. And remember, an unwise person is separated. Intelligence, but intelligence governed by base emotion without a center point is evil. It's not evil, it's just, again, a different movement. It's a different movement. But we want this balance, the heart point. But don't waste that hormone. See, now as we save it, go to the next one, growth hormone. The growth hormone, again, it's like a bodybuilding, yeah, you go overdo it, only burn out. We don't want to burn out on that. We want to keep it ticking over, always regenerating our body. So you harness it. You harness that hormone. You let it flow through your body. Same the pineal gland. You control your focus inwards. I don't try and control everyone outside of me. I try to control myself. And finally, the pineal gland, if I can activate that, I want to always keep a little bit going up to there. This is a deep meditation where you allow inspiration to come to you. I'm always allowing a connection to pure spirit. Pure spirit. This is no single personality. This pure infinite spirit. And you allow that spontaneous inspiration to come to you. So these are the 7 hormones, the 7 endocrine system. But there is one more, and these of course connect to the 7 chakras. The 7 chakras. But there is a cycle, and again, people don't talk about this. The Tao, in the Buddhism, and a lot of the Kundalini is another one. This is of course the Kundalini. The Kundalini energy rises up the spine, but they only really talk about it going up, and that's the end of it. It's got to come down again. Remember, there's a cycle. There's a cycle, and this cycle is like here. The base hormone, or the base fluid, moves up to more and more refined fluid. Each one of these fluids is more refined. It's more refined, and up here is the most refined fluid. And interestingly enough, the pineal gland is a crystal. It has micro crystals in there. The pineal gland is tiny micro or nano crystals. And you can imagine if you manage to get the pineal gland active, the fluid in the pineal gland, all those crystals will line up. You get coherence in the pineal gland. Boom! Now you're going to get, this is a receiver. Again, you've got crystals. Remember, crystals can receive information, but you've also got fluid. There's fluid in there. The hormone is a particular type of fluid. So there are fluids in their crystals, and you have coherence. This will receive pure wisdom from spirit. This is why pineal gland. But what do you do with this wisdom? There's one more. There's one more. So from here comes down into, right, the saliva. The saliva gland here. I'm going to colour the whole thing in black like that. Now, saliva is not an endocrine gland, but saliva is very important in the Tao. They do a lot of qi exercises where they collect energy, they absorb energy, and then they collect it in the mouth. And you collect some saliva in the mouth. And this is the idea of the energy. The qi is coming, and it's creating the saliva, and you're building energy, and then you'll swallow it. And you swallow the saliva and it will go down to your belly. And here they'll store the energy. Down in this area, you store the energy. It's between these three chakras, all this area here. The energy is stored. But they're collecting, you know, this ambient electromagnetism, and it's becoming liquid, saliva. You are converting pure energy into matter. You're absorbing this qi. It's non-physical. It's becoming electromagnetism, but now it's turning into saliva. So you just try it yourself. Sit there for a minute. Just sit up straight. Just try and feel energy around you. Come into your mouth and imagine it in your mouth collecting into saliva. You'll feel a bit of saliva produced. And then just let the saliva build up. Take it into your mouth and then swallow it down. And as you swallow it down, try and feel it go down to your belly. It's like you've created some liquid elixir. Elixir, they call this the elixir. This is the fountain of youth. You're literally drinking it in the saliva because you're collecting the energy and you're materializing this fountain of youth, and then you drink it. You swallow it down. It goes through your digestive system. It feeds all the fluids in your body, and then you store the electromagnetism in your belly, the battery down here. And if you want to learn more about this, you've got to look at my physical training. Go through my channel. I talk a lot about... I'll leave some links to the videos below where I talk about the electromagnetic system of the body, but I will be talking more detail about that in time. This one I'm still trying to talk about these hormones. But imagine, the cat's, ignore the cat. If you can hear the cat, he's outside, but he's got plenty of food. So there's an eighth one. So there's 7 hormones going up to the pineal gland. The pineal gland goes to pure spirit, but the 8th one is the saliva gland here. The saliva gland here. So there are 8 hormones, which means there are 8 chakras. And now I thought about this a long time ago, and I worked this out. And of course everyone talks about 7, but there has to be one for coming down, because then saliva, you swallow it, but you swallow it down, it goes back to the base again. And as you swallow it down, it digests. And you see, how is this hormone produced? Hormones are produced by the things you eat. You eat the food, the body connects all the nutrients, and all the best of the best energy and nutrients go to produce your sexual hormones, because that is to produce the next life. The body has the best energy here because it's got to go to the next life. So this is your fundamental fluid hormone here. The best energy is in here, this hormone. So this is the one we don't want to waste, and this is the one we use to build the next one. So the saliva is digested, and all this best energy is going to go back to this one. It has to. This is the first one. This is the one. This is what the body is trying to create. It's trying to create this hormone to create the next life. This is the fundamental process of the body. The body's process is to create this hormone. And the question is, what do we do with it? Do we waste it? Do we create another life? Or do we turn it inwards to regenerate ourselves? This is clever stuff. This is work we have to do. This is a science we have to understand, but this is a particular training. You turn your hormones in, let them circulate around the body, rebalance your body, but use them to regenerate. One hormone bins up to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Now, in practice, you don't have to think too much about this. In practice, you're just thinking about circulating energy round and round. Thinking about energy going up to the brain and down to the belly, up to the brain, down to the belly. And you think about this, collecting it in the mouth, saliva, and swallowing it down. And it just gets this whole thing going. You can look into greater detail and do detailed meditations about this, which we'll do in time. But in practice, you just need to understand this fundamental idea that these hormones connect to our different frequencies of energy, different types of energy. So you remember, this one gives you a particular type of energy. We know what that type of energy is. This one, adrenaline, gives you another particular type of energy. This one gives you another particular type of energy. I want to dance. This one gives you another type of energy. You feel love, you feel connectedness. This one, the throat, is another different type of energy. This one again to do with communication, information. I'm starting to understand things. So this is talking. And then this one is another one. This is a different one. This is a level of mastery. This is an energy where you start to feel yourself as a master. I'm achieving a certain level of mastery and control. And then this one is a level of connection. This is where you dissolve your mastery. You cannot be the master because you become one with the pure infinity. So this is your ego dissolves. But here, from a dissolved ego, you can receive new spontaneous energy. And then you collect that new spontaneous energy into the saliva. So you do it very quickly now. Just sit with your eyes closed. Imagine the energy going up your spine to your head, out into the cosmos. Then it comes down from the cosmos, down into your mouth. And then in your mouth you collect a bit of saliva. You feel it building up and then you swallow it. And then you feel the saliva go down to your belly, right down to the perineum, down to your legs, down to the ground. So you're just doing a circuit through your body like that. This is all it is, in the practical, simplest way. But this saliva gland, again, now becomes the 8th chakra. And there's only one other guy I've seen who talks about 8 chakras like this. His name is Rainbow Storm. I'll leave a link to his interview below. And he's the only guy that worked out there should be 8 chakras. And he worked it out because if you look at the positioning of each chakra, they're all even. So I think it's about, I've forgotten what he said, 11 or 20 centimeters gap between each chakra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then suddenly it jumps from the throat. It jumps straight up to here. And then up to here. So there's a missing jump. There should be one more about the mouth or the chin. He calls it the chin chakra. So, I'm just calling it the saliva gland. This area here is another center of energy. Your mouth itself is going to be an energy center, and your saliva gland is the key component of that energy center. It's a very important energy center, the saliva. So it's a good sign of your health that you're generating saliva. You get a dry mouth, try and generate some saliva. It's good for you. And then swallow the saliva down. The saliva will get all the hormones going. And you notice, that's right, the saliva, all of these, when you're active, you get saliva as well. So it's important. This completes the circuit. And in terms of the kundalini, there's different frequencies of energy, different levels of control. But I would say these, again, the different frequencies, different energies, but these are different experiences the soul is having. Different levels to all this. And if you look at all these different levels, each one is its own little energy center. See, each one is going to follow the same pattern of the universe I did at the beginning. Each one is doing this. Each one has got its center of inertia in the middle. That's what I'm saying about, this is what I was saying about the universe is fractal. It appears everywhere, all over the place. But what we want to do is the midpoint is the heart chakra. Midpoint in the middle here. And this is the heart, the physical organ, the heart, but also the thymus gland. There's the thymus gland and the lungs. All this area together, the midpoint of that is the heart chakra, the seat of the soul. This is the one that completes the coherence of all of them. The pineal gland and the base, the sexual gland. The central point is here. It's still the seat of the soul, the heart chakra. So if we want to balance ourselves anywhere, balance yourself here in the heart. Open the rib cage, feel the expansion to the back. See, we don't hunch forward, we open up, expand. This one keeps an optimistic view. This one keeps you confident. This is the seat of the soul, keeps you compassionate. You see, and we want that, but all we want to do is also maintain our own integrity. So we do want to have our own singularity, a singularity of spirit. So that gives us an idea of how the Taoist theory of the glands and how they relate. And I just want to say this once more in a very simple way, because this is also transmutation of matter. This is transmutation of matter. Another way of looking at it is like this. Okay, here's the body. Let's try the red pen again. You see the base hormone here is a liquid. Here's the base hormone. So this is a liquid. Let's draw it as a liquid here. Okay, it looks a bit funny. All right, never mind. All right, that's a ball of liquid. Okay. But this liquid, you see, this is physical matter. This is actual matter. But as it goes up through these processes At the top here, it's been transmuted to a different type of matter. And at this point, it's as if it's become, it's going lighter and lighter and lighter. And now here, it's becoming energy. It's becoming energy. So this is a transmutation of matter. Liquid is disappearing back into energy. This is a destruction as well. We are destroying matter back into ether, up to the pure infinity. And then from this pure infinity, we recreate matter. We recreate matter, and that recreation of matter here, let's do it in the other colour now. This is saliva. So you can see this as a process of transmutation of matter. The life itself, we are absorbing pure energy, and it turns into saliva, liquid. Liquid sinks down through the body to this liquid, but this liquid now as a hormone rises up through the hormones, turns back into energy, turns back into spirit. So this hormone system is the fountain of youth. This is the elixir of life. This is the elixir of life. But really we've got a lot of elixirs, and it's all these fluids are elixirs. So the first fluid is water. That is the first elixir of life. If we can get structured water, that is going to bring us energy. Second one, of course, is blood. We want magnetized, strong blood. You need to have the heme iron. Remember, we're feeding the mitochondria. So those vegetarians out there, I'm sorry, but we've got to feed the mitochondria. And I'll talk more about diet in time, okay? Because I'm talking about life and death, and it's not good to exterminate things, but you do have to eat meat. So there's a discussion about that we have to have. But anyway, there's blood. We need magnetized, strong electromagnetic blood, and that is another elixir. And I was talking about before, because of this elixir, and then we got the next one, lymphatic fluid, and then we got hormones. So these, I would say, but all these things together you can call the essence of life, or the fountain of youth. And we create these in our own body through this process, through our own training. We can do this. But you see, the bad people, as I talk about over and over, I'm going to talk about this in much greater detail, but we know the bad people want to control us, want to take our energy, use us as workers. We're all servants, but they will do worse than that. They want to live long. You see, these people they want to live long, but they're doing it in a bad way. They will steal other people's energy, and they're willing to steal other people's hormones. As I said it in the last week, you can drink this. You can drink this, and it will do you good. It will not do you real good, but it will regenerate your body, because your body just takes it as a hormone and regenerates itself. But your soul will not, because your soul knows the energy from where this came from. See, for example, the best one of this is the evil one. I'm going to write it down here, right? But I don't want to say the word. You can look this up. So this is famous now, and this is a drug. You get high on this. But this is adrenaline. This is adrenalized blood. And how on earth do you get that? Well, you have to terrorize someone. You have to put someone in terrible terror, and at the same time drain their life fluid out of them, and then it's adrenalized, and then you drink it. So you've got to create terrible pain and terrible misery to get this stuff, and then drink it. So you have to question, how is that good for you? And it's like that picture of Dorian Gray, the story of Dorian Gray. The guy looked young, he looked young and young, but he was doing it in a very bad way. Same like a vampire, they're immortal, they look young, but they're stealing everyone else's blood. So deep in their soul, they're in perpetual suffering. They're never truly happy, never truly satisfied. That's why they keep taking. You see, they're lost on this point of inertia. In the black hole, they're lost on the aspect of it all disappearing away. You see, we need to be lost on the aspect of it coming up. We are continually creating it. We are continually creating life. We're on the positive side. They're on the continual destructing life. So they need life because it's destroyed inside themselves. So they have to take it because they're destroying it. So this is one of the worst ways of taking it, you know, and terrible, terrible stuff. But nevertheless, that is a fountain of youth. And if you want to lose your, you know, but it will not truly save you. If you're a wise person, you'll do this. And they can never have this. This trumps it. This is much better. You've got to create this. You've got to create this stuff inside your own body. So you will create it here at the adrenaline gland. At the adrenal glands, you will create this, but then you suck it up. You bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. And that one you can't beat. You can't beat your own one. So, no, you know. So ultimately they're jealous of us. They are jealous of us because we are doing this for ourselves. So they can never have the true longevity that we can have because we're getting soul power. We're creating our own body. These people are stealing it. These bad people are stealing it. And let's put this very simply. How do you conserve your hormones? Well, you need to control your emotions. You live moderately. Now this sounds a bit depressing. It's not. It doesn't mean that at all. It means you are aware of. It's like this. I have got a big motorcycle. So imagine I've got a massive motorcycle. Okay, so I've got, like, you know, 1500cc sports bike. But I'm driving around town. I can only drive around town at 30 miles an hour. So I'm only going along. And someone else has got a little scooter, but he's going at 60 miles an hour. And I'm tootling on just at the same speed. Boom, boom, boom. So we're doing the same speed. You think, well, what's the point of having a big motorcycle? Well, no, at any given moment, boom, I will just bash you. You can't go any further. So having a powerful hormone and living moderately is like having an extremely powerful motorcycle under you, but you're just tootling along carefully. But you know there's power there. You feel it inside, but you're just not expressing it. You're harnessing it. So you're very careful. And again, this requires great maturity because most people are governed by this base emotion, isn't it? They're both governed by sex and power. And most people are governed by this base emotion. So there's no moderation. There's no control of this. This is why you've got to be a monk. This is why you've got to be a priest. It's not so much you've got to be a monk, but you've got to master the control of this. Not easy to do, but this is wisdom. If you can master the control of this, you can master the control of your fountain of youth. So living moderately means you've got the power, but you don't use it. And the same with adrenaline. You're building up the power of adrenaline. Yeah, I practice martial arts and I practice thinking about fighting. I might even practice sparring, but I'm practicing sparring by maintaining calm. I'm feeling the adrenaline, but I'm controlling it. No, controlling it. And I can handle more and more adrenaline without losing control. So I'm not wasting that adrenaline, and I don't just go willy-nilly into adrenaline sports. I don't risk my life for the hell of it. Because, oh, I want a thrill ride. Now, I'll go on a fun fair ride and enjoy it, but I know what's happening. Adrenaline is coming, I let the adrenaline come, and I'm enjoying it, but I control it. I'm trying to practice harnessing it. The same with all of them. Movement, insulin, you eat good food, move about, but you don't burn yourself out, don't exhaust yourself. Work your way through all of them, you see. It's the same principle. You harness the control of your emotions. The same with the heart. Heart is the center of all emotions. You're moderate with your emotions. Don't get overly excited, overly happy, and then overly depressed, overly miserable. Try to just stay neutral. Neutral. And I'm going to talk about this more in time, but we don't need this now. This one, we understand it, but we don't need it. And you'll see lots of science fiction movies where they drain your life fluid. There's lots of allegories of this. But in the heart, there's two emotions to cultivate in moderate living. And I would say this: cheerfulness. Cheerfulness. So we want to be cheerful because cheerful is optimistic. We want to be just continually on the upside, continually creating. And I don't mean ecstatic. I'm not overly excited because you burn out. But you want to be basically positive that you keep on going. And then the other one you need is serenity. The other one I call is serenity. So serenity is just a feeling of calmness and a feeling of you're just slightly aware and observing things and maintaining a calmness and an inner peace no matter what. If these two emotions, we just think about them and try and cultivate them in life, you'll get through most things in life. Whatever happens to you, whatever hits the fan, if you can come back to these two, you'll find a way through it. And this gives you the idea, the basis of this whole training. Living moderately means living efficiently, same with the body. I've got to hold an efficient position. It's a moderate mid position. That's the most efficient. And I can hold these efficient, moderate emotions, cheerfulness and serenity. This will keep me going. Now, cheerfulness is very interesting. Now, this is even in the survival. In the survival world, people, survivalists, they practice lost in the wilderness, and your group of people, you've got to survive. You've got to be cheerful. When you're in that life-death scenario, the one person in the group that gets depressed, the one depressive in the group can wipe you out because they bring everyone down, and that's the end. You finish. You've got to stay cheerful. When you're stuck in that absolute dire circumstance of surviving for your life, you've got to stay upbeat. You have to. That is the difference between life and death. Cheerfulness. And serenity is the same thing. Serenity in that moment is there is a way through it. I can't see it, but I know there is a way through it. Serenity will let you touch the infinite, find a way through, find a spontaneous solution. And serenity requires coherence. You bring your coherence together. See, there's a process to energy and there's a level to energy. Energy is creating matter, and matter is being destroyed back to energy. There's a transmutation, and I'm going to talk more about transmuting matter in physics, because again, this can be done in physics, but we're doing this in biology. This is a biological transmutation of matter. Again, nobody's talking about this, but that's what it is. And this is the ultimate kundalini, and this is the ultimate qigong, the tantra, ultimate Buddhist achievement of nirvana. But for me, I would sum this up as this is a method to build soul power. This is a method of improving your longevity, improving your ability to rejuvenate. I suppose what I should say is this is not a lifestyle. I'm not trying to tell you a way of living. It's not a lifestyle. You can live however you like, do whatever you want in life, but if you understand this, you can have a better chance of doing that for longer. And also, if you understand, I'm not teaching you ethics. Remember, there's no ethics here. There's only mathematics. The ethics is wisdom. I'm just suggesting you try to work towards wisdom. And if you work towards wisdom, you will be more ethical. You see, there is a thing in the Tao. The Tao, talk about this. There's the Tao of virtue. Virtue. So they don't talk about karma. In the Buddhism and Indian philosophy, they talk about karma. And karma is, again, not quite right. It's same as religion. They've got the idea of heaven and earth, and they've created a sort of arbitrary moral structure, a set of rules. If you do this, if you wear this clothes, if you eat that food, if you go to this group every week, if you don't do this, don't do that, then you'll go to heaven and earth. Or if you do it, you go to hell. This is an arbitrary set of rules. And mathematics is not an arbitrary set of rules. The only rules you have to follow is the mathematics of fire. Remember, the universe sees no good and evil, sees no pleasure and pain. If it follows the mathematics, then this mathematics is creation and destruction. Its religion has created this set of rules, and it's a group of people, I follow that rules, then I'll go to heaven or go to hell. It's the same in karma. There's the same sort of rules that have been set up. If I do this good action, then this good action will happen to me. If I do this bad action, then this bad action will happen to me. You sort of locked yourself in a destiny. There cannot be karma because there is free will. You've got to go back to my previous lecture. If there is karma, it implies an overall destiny. And that implies an overall ethics. Someone up there is keeping a record. You did that, so therefore in your next life that will happen to you. There's too many assumptions. You're assuming that you will have a next life and you will be the same person, and then someone else will do it to you. You can't assume that. Second assumption is made in karma is you are assuming that we are separate beings. Of course, we are separate singularities of spirit, but we are all spirit. We are all one spirit. So we're all one spirit interacting with itself. So there's no karma because it's one being interacting with itself. They're not separate beings. This is just an incidental experience one being is having of itself. So you can't have karma. And the Tao don't talk about karma. They don't talk about that. They don't need it. They don't talk about heaven and earth and karma. They don't need that. They're only talking about science. This is metaphysics, esoteric science. But they talk about the Tao of virtue. It makes sense. It is wise to be a good person because in general, being a nice, virtuous person will get you more energy. People are more likely to respond well to you. You are more likely to get what you want by being polite than by being aggressive. But they don't deny you have to have self-defense. The Tao of virtue is still wisdom. It doesn't mean I'm always giving to everyone. No, you'd use virtue with wisdom. Sometimes there is tough love. Sometimes a wicked person must be punished because that is teaching them a lesson. That's still tough love. That's still virtue. There is righteous anger. There is aggression, just for no reason, and there is righteous anger to fight against oppression. So we need that. Righteous anger is a virtue, but there is no karma. You see, and again, if you argue about karma, then again, it makes no sense. If there's karma, there's so many little babies born with terrible diseases, and they're innocent, pure innocent babies. And pure innocent children have terrible things happening to them. They're innocent. If they're not a so-called bad person in their last life, reincarnated, and now they're going to get terrible things happening to them. Because if they were a bad person, you would see elements of their bad person. They're not. They're pure innocence, and they're being abused. And that person, that abuser, doesn't get any comeuppance. The powerful people that are running the world and doing very evil things, they should have had their comeuppance by now if there was karma, but they haven't. They go back generations of the same family. Same families have been running the world through generations. You can map it, it's been mapped. So if there was a karma, those guys by now should have had their comeuppance. But they don't. Because there is no karma. There is no, the universe is not fair like that. There is no, you mustn't be seeking justice. You can't seek justice. There is only balance. There is only creation and destruction. Justice is arbitrary. The sooner you get your head around that, the better. And the most important thing to realize is there is free will. It doesn't matter what has happened in the universe. You, at this moment, right now, have got free will. Spirit can manifest a brand new life for you. You can do this for yourself. You are not bound by the destiny of your karma. No, you are not. You see, that is another story you've been told. Religion and karma is the same programming. It's a programming that traps you in a destiny. You've got to look at my last lecture. Now you're going down that road of destiny. Let me set you free from that now. You are not bound by your karma. You can change it. Now that doesn't mean you do a bad thing. You know, this happens, and you know, if you shout at someone, they might give you a slap. You got to respond for that. But that you can't call that karma. That's just an obvious common sense response. You will have that sort of thing. And if you want to fix the bad things you have done, you should go and apologize sincerely, and that will help you clear the air. That is the Tao of virtue. The Tao of virtue is, if you've done wrong, go and apologize. You should teach your children that. Be good, but if you've done wrong and someone tells you, apologize. But you must have shame. If you don't have shame, you won't improve yourself. So the Tao of virtue is the pursuit of wisdom. It is the pursuit of wisdom. Remember, that is what this is all about. And the pursuit of wisdom, and the Tao is through the Tao of virtue, which is the moderation of what's going on, your desires, the things in your body. You moderate them, not just for the sake of it, but to increase them. You increase them and you harness them, but you turn them inwards to your soul power. And the most practical thing I can tell you about living life is try to think about those emotions. And you might not think you've got them, but we've all got them. You can all access this. You just have to try and imagine. If you don't think you're cheerful, try and imagine what you think cheerfulness would be. And act it. You act it. Just pretend. When you act it, you'll get it. Serenity, the same thing. You might not know, but you just think, well, what would that be? You act it. Act serene, and it will come. And just a background thing. This is training yourself to be aware, training yourself to be observant, training yourself to control your own aura, and notice when people are trying to take your energy or control your energy. And it is training your coherence, building your magnetic field, building your aura, and harnessing this process of fluid flowing through your body. So I hope this lecture made sense. Do go back and watch the previous lectures because they do lead up to this, and do leave any questions or comments below. I will get back to you, and check out any of these other videos here. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.